Okay, so episode 6 of Fallout, The Other Player. On the surface, it feels like it's all over the place, right? You've got Lucy here, the Ghoul over there, these pre-war flashbacks. But trust me, it's not random. It's brilliantly weaving every single one of those threads together to reveal one single massive conspiracy. And it connects everyone.
So, here's how we're gonna untangle all this. We'll start with Lucy's big moral test, then rewind to her ancestor Barb's terrible choice. After that, we'll meet some new faces, pull back the curtain on the real villains, and see how everything, is pointing towards a massive war.
All right, let's dive right in. The episode throws us headfirst into this really unsettling family reunion between Lucy and her dad, Hank. And believe me, this is way more than just a family chat. It's like a battle for the soul of the entire Wasteland. And this right here, this is the central question of the entire show. Is it better to be safe but controlled, or free but in danger? You've got Lucy's idealism on one side, and Hank's, well, his brutal safety at any cost mindset on the other. It's basically the entire Vault-Tec experiment playing out in real time, right in front of us. So Lucy wakes up, and the scene she walks into is just skin-crawlingly creepy. Imagine this, an office full of former raiders, literal murderers, and they're all just working. Perfectly synchronized, sharpening pencils, making trail mix. They're happy, they're safe, sure, but they have absolutely no free will. For Hank, this isn't some nightmare prison. This is his masterpiece. It's order winning out over chaos.
And this is where their two worldviews just smash into each other. Lucy is still holding on to that pure vault dweller belief, that people are basically good and deserve a choice. But Hank, he's been on the surface. He's seen it all. And he's convinced that giving people a choice just leads to the Wasteland. And he's not just gonna tell her this, oh no, he's about to set up a demonstration.
And here we go, Hank's big, twisted test. He frees 2 prisoners, a guy from Caesar's Legion and an NCR soldier, mortal enemies. And what happens? Exactly what he knew would happen, instant violence. The Legion guy goes right for Lucy, choking her, and in that split second of pure panic, with all her ideals just shattering, she does it. She hits the button. She chooses control. And for that one moment, she's her father's daughter. Okay, so just as Lucy is having her world turned upside down, the show does this brilliant thing. It yanks us back in time to her ancestor, Barb Howard. And if you think Lucy's choice was tough, Barb's choice was, it was the one that broke the world. The thing is, Barb wasn't some evil mastermind. She was trapped. We see her sitting in these corporate meetings, listening to pitches about optimizing nuke blasts and sabotaging vaults, and she looks physically ill. Then, bam, Dr. Wilzig corners her, threatens her family, tells her she's just a replaceable part in a much bigger plan. His order? You're gonna go tell the board they have to be the ones to launch the bombs. And we already saw in season 1, that's exactly what she did. She had no real choice. And Cooper's question to her, man, it just hangs in the air. Were you a monster back then, or did you become one later? Was she really a monster, or was she just a mom, backed into the worst corner imaginable, trying to save her family in a world that was already doomed? This whole flashback just completely reframes her character. She's not a villain, she's a tragedy. So while all this heavy moral drama is happening with Lucy and Barb, we cut back to the Ghoul, and his story takes a sharp turn from existential dread to just brutal survival. And in the process, we get introduced to a major new player on the board, one that fans of the games will definitely recognize. We find the Ghoul at rock bottom. I mean, literally impaled, bleeding out, and he's so close to just losing it, going completely feral. But even then, he's clinging to the last shred of himself. He keeps repeating his name. I was Cooper Howard. It's his lifeline, right? The only thing keeping the man he was from being completely swallowed by the monster he's become. And right as he's about to check out for good, he gets saved by a super mutant. Now, if you're new to Fallout, these aren't just big, dumb monsters. They're huge, they're surprisingly smart, and they were created by something called the Forced Evolutionary Virus, or FEV, way back before the war. And this guy? He's not just a random encounter. He's here for a reason. And here's a super cool fact for the fans. The voice actor for the Super Mutant? It's Ron Perlman, the guy who delivered the iconic line, "War never changes," at the start of so many of the games. Such a perfect little nod to the source material. So the Super Mutant patches up the Ghoul. But it's not just an act of kindness. He's got a message, a warning. He says there's a war coming. He tells the Ghoul, hey, you and me, ghouls and mutants, we're basically kin. We were made by the same people. And he says they need to team up against their common enemy. And then he drops the name, the Enclave. And boom, that's it. That's the mic drop moment of the episode. This is where everything clicks into place. Lucy's dilemma, Barb's impossible choice, the Ghoul just trying to survive, it wasn't all separate. It's all been part of one giant, horrifying plan run by one group. So who is this Enclave? Think of them as the ultimate shadow government of the Fallout world, a secret club made up of the top dogs from the old US government, the military, and the biggest corporations. These guys decided they were the true America, and they've been pulling everyone's strings from behind the scenes since way before the first bomb ever dropped. And suddenly it all makes a terrifying amount of sense. The Enclave was using Dr. Wilzig to manipulate Barb. They're the ones who ran the FEV experiments that created the Super Mutants. It's a safe bet they made the Death Claws too. They are the puppet masters. Almost every single horrible thing in this world, you can trace it back to them. So what does this actually mean for the story? It changes everything. This show is no longer just about survival, about different factions fighting for resources in a dead world. No. Now it's about a full-blown war against the people who burned the world down in the first place, all for their own twisted version of progress. Which brings us to the final act. This is where the episode starts moving all the pieces into place for the finale. The board is being reset, and every single one of our characters is now on a direct path to collide with each other. So, here's where everyone stands now. You've got Lucy, basically a prisoner of her own dad. Then there's this wild reunion happening with Dogmeat literally herding the Ghoul, a very fed-up Maximus, and a freshly ghoulified Thaddeus back into one group. And don't forget, you've got this potential Ghoul super mutant army just waiting in the wings. Everyone is converging. And that leaves us with one last massive question. The episode is called The Other Player. At first you think, okay, maybe it's Vault-Tec, or maybe it's Robco. But this episode shows us, nope, they were all just pawns in a much bigger game. The Enclave is revealed as the real player behind the curtain, which makes you wonder, if they were pulling all the strings, who or what is pulling theirs? How far up does this whole thing go?